We're live now. Oh, man, that pre-stream. I'm telling you what. At least it wasn't a P stream, I guess. So, hi, everybody. Welcome back. I don't have anything written up this time, so you don't have to worry about me, like, freaking you out for a change. So I had a very, very busy day. But, let's just do the quick thing. We'll just go around real quick. Everybody know who you are, what you're playing.
I'm Casey H on social medias, and today I'm playing Ilya Hin, the cosmically inclined human being.
Hi, I'm Karl. I'm playing Kahareth, the Kalishtar Paladin.
Howdy, everyone. I'm MK, and I'm playing Colias Alexandra, the bard, who is also a human.
Hello, I am Aras. I am playing Nyx, aka Tabitha, the changeling rogue bard.
Sorry, I'm just throwing something in the chat real quick here.
That's it. That was it, I think.
Okay. So what happened last time? Well, the last time I didn't have to talk very much, which I was really appreciative of.
Spooky monsters chased us around.
Yeah, it's very true. Very true. So I knew that Tabitha and Colias had just returned from the Owl of Black Trees. You all had met back up. You decided to go to the public sensatorium, I believe, to deposit one of these memories, so the rest of you could sort of experience what the two of them had gone through while there. Beyond that point, you decided, I believe, on the way there, was it? Beyond the way there, you guys had met two of these creatures that had a very deep resemblance to both Tabitha and to Colias. Karl got to meet one up a little bit close and personal before jumping the sigil line, we'll call it, I suppose, of portals around the city. And you all had decided after the sensatorium that you would go and see if you could find some sort of defenses or some sort of weapons to use against these creatures. And you had stopped at one of Ilya's old comrades. The name out of my head instantly.
RK.
Thank you. Met up with her, a gnome artificer. And why you had decided on what sort of equipment that you wanted to partake with her. Tabitha and Ilya got to know each other a little bit better. Had some bonding time. And after that little exchange, there was the sound of I wouldn't say panicked voice per se, but a voice coming from the workshop, and a large cloud of smoke that sort of starts wafting in as some sort of rifle has gone off within the shop. And I believe that, I know that Tabitha was the first one that at least pronounced that she was going to go investigate what was going on. So what are the rest of you doing?
I'd be right behind her.
Also running in that direction.
Okay.
Me as well.
Okay. So you all run back into the workshop, seeing your gnome friend sort of backing up with this long rifle. It's almost comically as large as she is at this point. But you do see sort of whiffs of smoke leaping off the end of the barrel. And Tabitha, you do recognize, not far from that point, near the sliding door of the workshop, your own inner demon standing there, staring back. You see in its right cheek a gaping hole and some yellow, sharp teeth on the other side of it. Some of them are cracked and broken, and there's this black blood pouring down the side of its face. It lifts these yellow eyes in your all's direction as you wander in. And Tabitha, you saw how this face had been split, in a sense. Almost like I said, the Predator. begins this large smile. And you see the flesh already beginning to mend. With a swift motion, you see it spit a round chunk of metal or something from its mouth. It clangs off the floor. What are you all going to do?
Put on my earmuffs of serenity.
Probably a good choice.
Oh god. Do I see the tape anywhere?
You do see the tape. It's sitting on a workbench not too far from where Arche, is that right? Okay. I keep forgetting that name for some reason. And it has a sort of silvery shimmer to it currently. You're not quite sure if she had finished the enchantment or is still in the process. But it is sitting there.
All right. Probably just going to start off with trying to throw a dagger at it.
Okay.
To at least, if nothing else, not immediately put me under its spell.
Okay.
Whatever it does.
All right. So we have a lob dagger. We have earmuffs going over the ears.
I would like to see what I could do to position myself between as many people as possible and the creature.
Okay. You have to move around this large, what I guess you all actually had said, I don't know if it's on or off stream, but this steampunk motorcycle, this large contraption that looks like it seats quite a few people actually. You'd have to move around it a little bit to get between not only your group and this creature, but also between it and Arche. But you can definitely get there. It's not far out of your reach.
For that dagger, it's a 15 to hit.
That will definitely miss.
Okay. Lobs right into the side of the wall.
Colias, what are you doing?
I guess I would ready an action if I could.
Sure.
I'm not really sure what to do other than just like kind of try to like hunker down and try to like defend.
Okay. You can take that action if you just want to defend yourself, but or if you're going to hold an action, let me know what it is and what is going to trigger it.
Okay. Let me ask, how far away is this thing from us?
It's about 20 feet from you at this point.
Okay.
Just have to go around this massive engine before you.
Okay. I could just cast Shatter and be done with it. For the first time ever, I could cast Shatter.
You definitely could.
Let's see. Yeah, why not? Let's just go for it.
Okay.
I'm gonna cast Shatter.
Okay.
It's a Constitution save.
A Constitution saving throw.
Mhm.
All right. That will be a 17 to save.
That saves it.
Alrighty. So this is this rippling vortex of, I assume, sound that sort of, see the flesh of the creature sort of vibrate against it. Digs itself into the ground of this stone floor and is unmoving and unfazed by your spell.
Ah, so it's not even gonna take the damage, alright.
Is it safe for half? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
we're
rolled
good.
2 7s and a 4, so
2 sevens
half
and
of
a
that.
4. Okay, so 2 7s and a 4 is going to be 18 half to 9 points of damage.
Exciting.
Very. Alright. So that will be your round. And I think we'll just go ahead and run into initiative real quick. I guess I could probably bring that up on my turn tracker, make it a little easier, couldn't I? Let me clear that off. All right.
Quick question. Should we be seeing anything in Roll20?
Not this time, no.
Okay. Just making sure. I wasn't the only one in the dark.
Nope, you are not.
I got a 20 for initiative.
Okay. $20. Come on. Okay. Sorry, I am slow today for some reason.
Okay. I got a 17.
17,
16.
16.
And I got a 16 as well.
Okay. I got, let's see, plus, okay, I got a 21. That's oddly the order that I put you all in. Okay. Who's got a better dex, Colias or Ilya?
I got a +4.
I have a +1.
Let's solve that then. Okay, so it'll be my turn first. And Tabitha, you feel that familiar sense as this thing's mouth rips apart and you begin to see like this mixture of this dark blood in its mouth and saliva just hanging off of it as its mouth tears open and a shuddering scream escapes its lips. Those that can hear need you to make me an intelligence saving throw.
Seven.
Oh, okay.
I got a 10.
Okay.
15.
15 will save.
Oh god.
I'm just going to put the gnome in here because I forgot to, and I'm just going to call her gnome because that's what it's going to be. She got a 8. Okay. Anybody who rolled below a 12 is going to fail. And those that rolled below 12, I need you to roll me a d6, please.
One.
1.
I got a 3.
A 3, excellent. Kahareth, you have an overwhelming hunger. Just begins to tear through your mind. Everything around you seems to go red as you see the faces of your friends melt away, replaced by these nightmarish creatures. And your first instinct is to annihilate it. In combat, you're going to have to attack the closest creature to you in the most effective manner possible. And this person is going to be, currently, I believe, the creature because you ran right up to it. And Colias. You rolled a 3, is that correct?
Yes.
You begin to hear voices in your head. And these voices seem to mock you, agitate you, telling that you're a failure, you're going to die here. They laugh, they cry out. The best you can do is try to hold your hands against your ears, but it doesn't silence the madness that's growing inside your brain. During your turn, you can only perform 2 actions, either a standard, a move, or your bonus action, but not all 3. as you are constantly second-guessing yourself. Kahareth, it's your turn.
All right, so I have this frenzied bloodlust towards the creature directly in front of me. And fortunately, it's the right creature. So I will start, in order to make it the most effective, using my Hexblade's Curse.
Oh, okay.
And then I will swing my longsword at this fella.
Oh, excellent.
That is a 22 to hit.
22 will definitely hit.
All right, and then I will also use a smite to
Ooh.
increase the efficacy
Okay.
of this attack for an extra. Okay, so 7 slashing plus 2 for the Hexblade's Curse, which is 9 plus 12 radiant damage
Oof.
from this smite. So 21
Ow.
total.
21. Not fun. Okay. So you lay a deep gash into the side of this thing. You don't recognize it as being Tabitha, not her grotesque form that she is with now and standing in front of you. But there's that long gash across this thing's side, and you see the rest of you see this black blood just spray against the wall. Anything else for your turn?
That's it.
And that is going to bring us to Tabitha. Change the music.
Tabitha's probably going to just try to physically attack it. I think she would assume that due to its nature, it probably wouldn't have any effect with spells. So she's going to assume that she can't use magic against it. And just run up and try to skirt around so Kahareth is on the other side, kind of flanking, with both short swords in hand and attack it.
Okay.
Oh, that is a 22 to hit.
That will definitely hit.
And 8 slashing damage, unless I have sneak attack.
You should definitely have sneak attack.
Beautiful.
It definitely has something threatening it right now.
Seven more piercing damage.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful,
And then
beautiful.
offhand attack
Oh,
with the other short sword.
I'm just used to you hiding as soon as you do this.
Nope. She also doesn't assume that she can hide from this, since it found her, obviously. That is a 15 to hit.
That will unfortunately not hit.
So ducks right out of the way.
I believe that is all your actions for this turn.
Yep.
Okay. Let me see what I want to do. I think I will burn a legendary action just to make an attack. Got 2 people on me. Tabitha, you are being struck at. Actually, this thing, you just see it turn towards you, and that mouth opens once more, and these jagged teeth lunge at you. That was a natural 20. I'm very
Just
sorry.
hits.
Yeah. And that is going to be... it's going to be 14 points of piercing damage and 8 points of psychic damage. And I am going to...
Beautiful.
When that happens, Kahareth will use his channel divinity, Rebuke the Violent.
Nice.
I can read that if you like, or I can let you read it.
After attack against the creature near, you can use your action to force the attacker to make a wisdom saving throw.
15 is the DC.
Wisdom save. I rolled a 13. I have failed.
All right, so he takes the amount of damage he just did she takes the amount, it takes the amount of damage he just did in radiant damage.
What did I just do to you, Aras? Remember how much that was?
8 and 21.
21.
Or no, sorry, 22 because I'm now at 5 out of 27.
Okay, so I just took 44 points of damage. If I'm reading that correctly. Ow.
Equal to, not double.
Okay.
Unless.
No, I mean I'm happy
it's doubled
to
for
to
radiant
not
damage.
It's
No.
vulnerable to radiant.
No, I'm good without that. Thanks.
Okay.
Cool. It definitely visibly hurt the thing though, right?
Oh yes, definitely heard it.
Okay, cool.
Ilya.
Where's that tape at?
It's maybe 15 feet away from where you're standing right now on a workbench.
Okay. All right. Yep, I'm gonna go for it. I will start off by casting Zephyr Strike.
Okay.
What happens is the whatever debris is on the ground in the workshop, a little bit of soot, a little bit of sediment, does like a very slow kind of clockwise churn around her feet as she produces this spell. And then she's going to run for the tape.
Beautiful.
Pick it up. And even if I still had 15 feet to burn, I still wouldn't get to it, right?
Yes, you would. You can get to it.
I can? Okay,
Yes.
I'll go for it. And then I will use the ability Zephyr Strike gives you for advantage on an attack in order to attempt to smack that thing on its mouth.
Okay. Could make me an attack roll.
This is going to be strength-based.
I'd say it would probably be dex-based.
Yay! All right. I am not proficient with tape. All right. Oh, it's a 14.
Was that with advantage?
Yeah.
Okay. That will not hit.
Okay, that's fine. I will back up now. Zephyr Strike additionally gives you 30 feet of movement extra if you use the advantage.
Gotcha. Okay. Is there anything else for your turn?
That's a lot. I think that's all I can do.
Just making sure. Okay. Let's see. Between Ilya and Colias' turn, I'm going to use one more of my legendary actions. Tabitha, this creature who has just taken this massive chunk out of you, just bleeding heavily. The mouth reforms, and you see the face change. It's very pale and smooth, almost like marble. These silver eyes staring at you. And then they narrow. And you hear, coming from it, not from its lips that don't exist currently. He comes. And then for my legendary action, I am going to step out of there. You see the form melt almost instantly to like this black ichor and slide back suddenly under the door. You guys are going to make me a perception check.
10.
16.
Unnatural 20.
Very nice.
Damn it, 12.
Damn it, 12. Really, pretty much all of you hear outside this massive sound of, well, not massive, I'm sorry, wrong word. You hear this almost like shuffling, scraping sound outside the door. Like a large figure moving not far behind it.
Is Nyx the only one who heard what it said?
No, really. Oh, yes. I would say that Nyx is the only one that heard distinctly the words that it said.
Still in Tabitha face, I say in common, it's coming. I don't know what, but it's coming.
I want to hide.
I too would like to try to hide.
I have my earmuffs on, so I'm just like, where'd it go?
Arche moves from where she was standing, putting the rifle back on her shoulder. What in the hell was that thing? Is that one of the things you all were speaking of last time?
Yes. That was it. It changed this time. Did anyone see it change?
They saw it change, definitely.
There's something going on out there. Am I still?
I was gonna say, yeah. The rage has melted away from you now that you're not
Okay.
within sight of it.
Well, I just opened the door.
Okay. So you slide the door open and you look out into the night streets, and your ears are struck when you look off to your west. You see this hulking figure. It's maybe 8.5 to 9 feet tall, with this leathery skin, and it has like this almost mucus dripping off of it. Fur and leather underneath of it, very tattered, very torn, some of it mauled with blood. And it's sort of shuffling towards your direction, Kahareth. And it drags this staff behind it, scraping on the ground. It looks almost too big for it to even be wielding it. So you don't recognize it.
Do I see the shadowy ooze that was the Regrets monster?
You do not, no.
And the big hulking thing, is it making its way slowly towards us, or is it charging towards us, or is it heading in the other direction?
It is moving towards your direction, and its gait is slow, but with purpose. It's not...
Are we gonna try to fight that thing?
I think it's coming to fight us.
We
Well,
can
it
still
looks-
opt out.
Looks like all we need to do is walk away from it at this point.
Yeah, maybe it's okay to talk to it. Maybe
I don't want to.
negotiated with.
I don't want to ruin this nice lady's workshop who invited us in.
Yeah.
Colias and Tabitha, are you within the workshop, or did you follow Kahareth out? That's the question.
Still within the workshop, but peeking out.
Peeking out.
Same.
Okay. Colias and Tabitha, you both instantly get a striking resemblance to Sarpedon, or what would have been Sarpedon if he was slightly more mangled, deformed.
Oh, look, there's another one.
And really, I should say, I know you guys went to the sensatorium, so really, Karl and you would probably recognize it as well. I apologize.
I'm gonna kind of look at the tape that I have and see, like, try to measure it, see if it's even long enough to cover that muzzle.
And as a reminder, Sarpedon is a lizard person.
Correct.
But it's clear it's not just regular Sarpedon who just had a bad night, right?
Right.
Okay.
So, yeah, maybe we should go somewhere else so it doesn't come ruin. You've been very hospitable, unless you want to see if you want to study this thing. We can bring it in here and try to whack at it. I look terrible right now. I'm bleeding heavily.
She looks to you, Tabitha, and then looks out at this thing. I would say you all need to make a very, very quick escape from here. And I'm not sure you're in the best traveling condition.
I cast mage armor on myself.
Tabitha, come here.
I hum a little ditty to myself, and I just a purple glow comes from my throat and just covers my whole body with the sheen for a moment.
All right.
Can I heal Tabitha real quick?
Sure.
With some healing word? Okay. That'll be... I'm gonna cast it at the second level, so it'll be 2d4 plus 3. Do I roll that, or does she roll that?
You roll it.
Okay. I just didn't know if it was, like, the person you gave it to.
No, you're good.
That's a 3 and a 2, so 5 plus 3, which is 8. Math with MK.
While they're all doing all of that,
Mm-hmm.
I would like to purposefully mount the vehicle in the middle of the workshop and see if I can figure out how to use it.
Okay.
Yay, double digits.
Do you have some sort of proficiency with these sort of vehicles in
See,
general?
in air vehicles.
Doesn't quite qualify.
If you take it off some sweet ramps.
Right. You have a very vague understanding of how it might operate. You do realize it would probably take multiple people to operate this machine.
If I know that, can I tell people what to do?
You can attempt to, correct. Because you're not quite sure yourself how it works exactly, but you do know, just from a quick glance at it, that it would probably take multiple people to operate this machine. It looks like almost like some sort of like gnomish war tank that multiple people would have to move around to operate.
RK, does this qualify as a swift getaway?
She looks back. She had her rifle sort of raised in the position of where this fake Sarpedon is coming down, and she looks at. Why, hell yes, it would.
How does it work? Bang, bang, bang.
She runs back towards it and jumps behind it, jumping into one of the driver's seats. Well, you have to turn this wheel here and pull back this lever. Press the fourth button to the right. She just starts giving off all these instructions as quickly as she can. I think Kahareth was out first, outside of this structure. You begin to see this figure of Sarpedon. You see the muscles in the flesh begin to break. Each step it gets closer. You see its form enlarging. Before long, you see multiple heads with long black teeth multiple crimson eyes glowing over in this pale green flesh as you see the other side of this moon druid begin to morph into this hellish looking creature. He's maybe 20 feet tall at this point, and his gait now is starting to climb a lot quicker towards you.
I head back towards the vehicle that is being finagled, and as I pass by Tabitha, I will touch her on the shoulder and heal her with my healing hands for 10 more HPs.
Beautiful.
For lay on hands, not healing hands, is a thing.
Okay.
Thank you. Do we have time for this? I feel like we should just run.
Can I roll to see if Colias can just absorb what the gnome lady's saying?
You can give me an intelligence check, sure.
An intelligence check? Oh no. Here we go, everybody. This roll's gonna either save us or make us start running.
It will be a very hard roll to make, I'll tell you that now.
Well, I got a 10. Middle of the road.
Some things make sense, some don't. You hear the engine begin to rev up as she turns it on. There's this puff of like blue smoke, and the smell of a chemical filling the air. Well, if we're getting on, we should go now.
Aboard! Last call for living!
All right. I hop on up.
Okay.
Fuck it.
Everybody...
Can I see what I absorbed?
Sure.
Hey, that's not bad. Just an intelligence check is a 19.
Very nice. Very nice. And I will tell you what that's going to do for you here in one moment. You begin to tear out of this building with this gnome artificer at the helm. And the rest of you trying to find places where to go within this structure, trying to figure out how it turns and speeds up and slows down, just staring at all these gauges. And we will move you all to the next part of our map here. And let me know if you see it.
Oh boy, stuff's happening.
I see it.
And now, just for a minute, we're going to step outside of 5e rules. Who here has played Crash Pandas? In your journal, you're going to see a very, very quick rule set on how we're going to operate this motorcycle down through the streets of Sigil. Basically, each of you are going to take a turn choosing a number between 1 and 6, which is why I had you get your d6 out to begin with. You're going to keep that secret to yourself, though. You guys can't confer about what you're going to do with your turn. Catch it on so far? And Tabitha, for your understanding, we're going to go ahead and give you a free feat to start this with, if you would wish to take it. And you can spend that at the beginning of your turn, and you guys can all collectively choose how you wish to spend that feat. That's one of the few things you can confer on. I'm going to give you the option to go ahead and start your motorcycle, which is your little green dot there, which I thought would be better so you guys can see it better. If you can't see it, it should be in the upper left-hand corner where I'm blipping at right now. And you can point that in a direction or an angle that you wish to start off at. You can see off to your left the large creature coming down toward your direction. And I have given you some red icons on the map, which are going to be obstacles that you will have to avoid. And I think about lower center of the map, there is a flag, which is going to be our end point. Your job is to try to get down there as quickly as possible without destroying your vehicle or getting caught.
I love this so much. This is so great.
Anybody have any questions?
So, if we all, for example,
Mm-hmm.
chose 5,
Okay.
so we all speed +1,
Right.
what does that mean if we all did that?
So you're going to move your motorcycle with whatever direction it's facing right now. It's going to go about 40 miles per hour in that direction. If there's an obstacle in the way, you're going to hit it. So.
And the use item, that's not something that's on the tank. It's one of our own items.
Correct. We can use it in some sort of fun way, though. Maybe something you can throw back to hinder the creature, maybe slow him down a little bit, or be creative about it. We're very open to suggestions and thoughts here and creativity.
And when he says spend successes,
Mm-hmm.
how do we get successes?
Okay, so at the end of each round, as you're moving, I get to roll a d6 equal to the speed that you all are traveling. If I roll 4+ on a d6, you guys get a feat to use. If I roll a 1, your vehicle takes damage. You can have 10 points of damage to your vehicle before it stalls or needs to be repaired. So for that round, you guys will probably be spending your action trying to repair the vehicle, while this thing is chasing you down at the same time.
Got it.
Anybody else have questions?
So just to make sure I've got the basic thing of this down,
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like I don't have the basic thing of this down.
Sure.
We choose a number from the list. We choose. We don't roll. We choose.
Correct. And you keep it to yourself.
Mm-hmm. And then it's like we take turns doing that thing we chose.
I will go down. I'll start from 1 to 6. So if Aras chooses 2 and you choose 5, and Karl chooses 5 and Casey chooses 6, then we're going to start by turning left. We're going to accelerate, and then Casey gets to use her item.
Okay.
This way you guys don't really understand how to operate this thing correctly, which I thought was appropriate for this system. And since you guys can't confer to each other what you're doing, it all happens simultaneously. So one of you might be turning it left, the other one might be turning it back right, and you're straighten back out again.
Oh, gosh.
All in the same turn.
Okay.
I have chosen my action, or my number,
Okay.
and I have whispered it to you because I don't have a physical die in front of me.
Okay. So have you all chosen what you want your first action to be? And are you happy with the starting position where your motorcycle's at? I think you all have access to move it around if you need to.
It's there. Oh, can we start at the end? Can we just start at the flag?
You can start in front of that little building that I have you in.
Yeah. No, that's a fine place to start.
In the right
Fine.
direction you want to start? Because you can rotate it if you need to. If you click the icon in that little, the very top on there, you can see how I can rotate it around. So it'll go 45 degrees. Karl's chosen his number. The rest of you?
I think so.
Yep.
Okay. So what are your numbers, folks? I know
5.
5. 5. You all chose 5.
We're gonna die.
Okay. So suddenly this
Punch it.
motorcycle just takes off right out the gate.
I literally punch it.
I think we need some lively video game type music for this. 2, 3. So you all begin barreling down the street. This sound of the tires of this thing just squeal, and smoke pours out the back of it as it begins to take off. And our creature looms further now His slow gait replaced by a steady running. He draws closer to you. But you guys have just tore ass down the street there. You're going 4, right? So I get to roll 4d6. And let's see if you guys take any damage. No damage, but you earn 2 stunts. You now have 3 stunts you can spend. Beginning of the next turn, do you guys want to spend any of your stunts before you choose what you're going to do?
Can I suggest that we streak ahead of evil by 5 feet?
You want to burn one of your stunts to do that, guys?
Okay.
Okay. We'll push your vehicle further ahead.
Leave like Ghost Rider flames in our wake.
There you go. Okay, 2 stunt points remain. And it's the start of a new round. Pick your next action, folks.
Got it.
Okay.
Just looking at my inventory real quick just to see.
Sure.
Got it.
Beautiful. Okay. You guys, other ones chose your actions for the turn?
Quick question. So do we get to keep that speed now, or do we have to like keep accelerating through every single turn?
You're going to keep the same speed, which
Okay.
means that next round I'm still going to roll 4 and whatever else more that you guys speed up this turn. Okay?
Oh, I did not.
No problem.
I'm still happy with what I did.
Okay. Everybody chose then? Colias?
Oh god, sorry, this is stressful. Yeah, okay. I guess I'll just wing it. I'm ready.
Okay. What are your numbers?
5.
5, 3, 3, and 5. We have 2 accelerations and 2 turn rights. We are now facing south. And we are going to 1, 2, 3, 4 and hit a wall.
We can't use any of our stunts right now, can we?
You got 2 stunts. Yeah, go ahead. And if you want to try to do something to avoid this.
So there's sweet tricks, jumps and skids.
Okay.
Can we try to jump over the building?
Jump over a building. God, I love that so much.
Or it doesn't even have to be all the way over if we could just get on the roof.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, so you start to peel down this alleyway. See a stack of something, barrels or something to that degree. This massive motorcycle, you see that you're lurching right towards a wall. Kahareth, you take your little wheel, not quite sure still how it works, but you grind it as quick as you can to the left, and the front of it takes off, landing you on top of this building just out of reach. But you are going to take 1 point of damage to your vehicle in the effort. You still have 9 remaining.
There goes the shocks.
I will move my turn. Getting closer. And you guys, we had 2 accelerations, correct?
Yep.
I should probably move you a little bit since you did spend a stunt. So we'll have to roll 4 or 6 of these now. That's 1. 1. You guys earned 3 stunts and took 1 damage. So you're now... Did I say 3 stunts, correct?
Yep.
You have 5 stunt points now, guys.
We should have 4 because we used 2.
Use 2. Okay. Thank you for your honesty. I don't know why my music stopped. That makes me mad. Put that
We're
back
still
on.
on the roof, right?
You are still on the roof.
Sweet.
Any stunts before we start our picking what we're doing?
I have a quick question.
Yes.
That bit of wood there, is that a bridge from one roof to another?
It is.
Beautiful. Okay.
If we choose to attack the creature, does it slow the creature down?
Potentially.
Potentially.
May I suggest we use another streak ahead?
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Everybody? Good? Okay. 5 more feet ahead. Then that will lead us
Another
to...
one? Maybe another one? Can we use 2?
You can use 2. Yes? No?
Yeah, okay. It just seems like that little housetop, the triangle it is the housetop, that's the perfect place for a stunt.
Well, you still have 2 left if you want to spend multiple ones here. You want to do some sweet jumps or something?
Yeah, let's do a corkscrew. Just freaking woo in the air.
Nice, nice. So this massive machine, which doesn't look like it should probably leave the ground, let alone get into the air, begins to turn and twist, leaving this spiral smoke behind it. And we will clear you of that obstacle. And I'll give you the option if you'd like to turn your vehicle 45 degrees in one direction. Totally up to you all.
I would say yes, because at least I'm looking at that bridge across to that other house, and then how close that flag is.
Counterclockwise.
Just south.
I agree. I think we should turn.
Okay. Perfect. And before we start this round, perception checks, please.
Nine.
20 Juan.
21.
14.
17.
Okay. So Ilya and Tabitha, off to your east, you see, just hunkering behind the top of one of these buildings, the beast that you saw not too long ago. Covered in blood still, but doesn't look quite as injured as it was before. Your own little counterpart there, Tabitha. And she's right across the bridge from you all, right here. Sneering in your direction. Alright guys, time to choose your numbers.
Choosed.
Got it. Everybody's got one? Okay. You got your number chose?
Just now, yes.
Okay. Okay, sorry. So what did you all decide to do this round? 5, 6, and 3. Okay, so we're going to start with 3. We're going to turn 45 degrees to the right, which I guess is just going to put us right back to where we were just at, right?
Basically. It's like we started turning, we saw the Tabitha regret, and they were like, nope!
All right, so we had, was it 2 5s? Is that correct? Okay, so we're going to speed ahead. And we had a 6, is that correct? And what is our 6 going to do?
I wanted to cast Vicious Mockery on the big creature chasing us, but now I kind of want to cast Vicious Mockery on the closer
Okay.
threat monster. Maybe, well, oh shoot, I don't know if it's like following us or if it's just kind of there. Let's go ahead and because I only know what's absolutely chasing us is the Sarpedon monster.
Okay.
Can I reach that? Is that 60 feet?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm gonna cast Vicious
Think.
Mockery.
Yeah, just close enough. Okay, Vicious Mockery. I need to make was it a charisma save?
It's a Wisdom save.
Wisdom save. That will be a 13.
It was 13, so that means you win? Or do I win?
If I meet the DC, then I succeed.
Lame.
Nothing happens. Okay. Alright, what are we going now? How fast?
We accelerated 2 this time.
2 this time. And so you probably slowed down a little bit as you jumped on top of the building. I would assume that you probably didn't go full blast as you're making sweet jumps over top of things. Okay, 2 stunt points earned and 1 point of damage. Now we're going to move. 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Oh, I get to make an attack against the vehicle. We'll hit him, do 1 point of damage to it. You guys see as one of these little metal plates that are surrounding on the wheels get knocked off the back wheel and skitters off the side of the building and clatters on the streets below. And anti-Tabitha moves across the bridge in your all's direction. Alright, new round. Stunt points. Anybody want to spend them? I believe you're up to 4 again.
Are we allowed to discuss our number picking strategy before we do the number picking thing?
Number picking strategy?
Yeah. You know, we're not telling each other the numbers that we picked. But for instance, we could say, well, we could use a stunt and forego one thing and do another thing. Does that break the rules?
You guys can confer stunts all you want. That's not a problem. If you're going to say, hey, one of us should turn right and one of us should accelerate and one of us should... That's being a little bit too meta in the moment. That's supposed to be a chaotic scene where you're all trying to figure this vehicle out at one time. So...
I was gonna say, can we spend a stunt to hop that roof and get on the bridge?
Yeah.
Get some good trajectory, good speed.
Maybe
Makes sense to me.
Maybe you could do a sweet little tire skid there to straighten yourself up in the right direction and bounce up to the side of it. What do you think?
I'm leading off of it to make that happen.
Excellent. Frantically, I assume. So you guys end up turning your vehicle back into some direction and whirl off the side of this and landing hard just outside of the bridge here. That sound as it skids across the tops, and there's wood flying in all directions. Any other points for this round before we go into it?
Was that 1 stunt?
If you want to land where I put you at, it's going to be 2, just to get you shaped in the right direction here.
So we have 2 stunts left.
Correct.
I'd like to suggest using both of them to move ahead 10 feet.
All right. You are 10 feet further ahead with 0 stunt points now. So that's going to lead us to what you guys decide you're going to do for your turn. You are in a precarious position here, just to let you know.
I think.
Obey.
Might be a gamble.
All right. What are your numbers?
5.
6, 5, 6, and 6. Okay, so we are going to speed ahead. Ooh.
May I use my thing at this point?
Your thing?
Yeah, the action. Because it all happens at once, right?
Right.
I wanted to cast the jump spell.
That's so silly. I love it. Okay. So you all sort of are going off the edge of this bridge and suddenly, bonk, slide off the side of it and sort of go across the lights of the city, sort of like E.T. across the moon, and land on one of these smaller buildings, skittering up the side of it, the edge of it coming dangerously close to the front tire. You've managed to still go down the other side and slide off of it, but you are definitely in a precarious position here. But not far from where you need to be at. MK, what is your action?
I was speed.
You were speed? I thought I had 2
I was
sixes.
a 5. That
I'm sorry, Aras, go ahead.
Let's see. I was going to. Wanted to make sure I was still in. So before we got out of range, I wanted to cast Dissonant Whispers, which is 60 feet.
Oh, wow. Go ahead and do it.
Okay. I would have cast it at my regret. Singing under my breath a melody from my childhood.
Okay. What do I need to make?
Make a wisdom save.
That is a 12.
Fail.
Excellent.
Yeah, 3d6 psychic damage. That's shit. 4 psychic damage.
4 psychic damage. Okay.
And that's it. Oh, and you must immediately use your reaction, if available, to move as far as you can away from me.
Okay. So I guess
it doesn't move into obvious danger, but
okay. So it's going to 1, 2, 3, 6. Going to move away from you. And the other thing is going to make a... Yeah, it's going to pass that check as it crawls up the side. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Not too far from your position as this large creature just grinds itself up the side of these buildings, just breaking through the rooftops. There's splinters of wood and screams as this thing crawls over top of the buildings in your direction. Now it's time for vehicle damage. I think we're going like 8 right now, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. Oh, 3 points of damage and 2 stunts. You are currently at 3 hit points on your vehicle, speeding heavily towards a structure, I might add. But you do have a couple stunt points.
can we please pop a wheelie over that structure and then come skidding in front of the flag?
You gonna spend the points for it?
That's my only request.
Y'all good with I can probably get you onto the structure, at least. Jumping up on top of it.
Sounds
Okay.
good to me.
So I will get you turned in the right direction at least, so you're not going to be hitting a tree. And popped up onto the front or the back side of this, almost like a roof structure that comes to a point. You guys are precariously hanging onto the side, trying to use your body weight off to the left, trying to keep it steady. But you all are flying right now. the beginning of your next turn, choose.
Do we have any stun points left?
You just burned them.
Okay.
Chose.
I was assuming that was going to happen. Okay. What did you all choose? We have 1, 1, 5. So we're gonna slow down a little bit and use an item. So we are flying past our target point.
I forgot how speed works. Sorry, guys. Inertia, no.
Okay. And what action are we going to use?
It was going to be to jump again to make sure that we passed that gap, but apparently we didn't need to. We just do that with inertia.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Apparently.
There's something else you'd like to do?
Break.
Break? We'll say for brevity's sake, we're going to break for that one then. But you guys are still moving. But a little slower, thanks to a couple of you. 1. Ooh, 2 points of damage to your motorcycle. You're at 1 hit point now for your structure. And you have 3 stunt points.
We should turn around, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
how many stunt points?
3.
1? 3. Alright. Maybe we could do like like on the side of the tires and it'd be all cool.
Pop a
and
wheelie and then dance on it, yeah.
There you go.
Or just turn ourselves around at the very least.
I was gonna say we could make a donut.
Oh yeah, we could do a donut.
Do a
Turn
donut.
the bike around.
Okay. So we're going to spend our points to turn a bank. You want to go straight north, northwest? Which direction you want to face here?
We just have to be near the flag, like within the 5-foot box, I would assume, right?
Yeah.
Do we want to face north so we can be within that box?
That seems logical to me.
Facing north. Okay. So we won probably one last round here of choosing. Well, I got to move my guys, didn't I? I moved them last turn. I'm sorry. Or did I move them last turn? I don't think I did. I didn't. 5, 6, 7, 8. Creature begins to again approach, crawling over top of these structures, tearing the buildings apart. And other tabs just out of view entirely at this point. Alright guys, your last round. What are we going to do? Choose your numbers.
Did we drop to 0 speed?
No.
Can we ask what our speed is?
Currently it's 5, I believe. Numbers chosen. Okay, what is your guys' numbers? Okay, 3 1s and a 6. We have dropped to 2 speed. And what is your 6 going to be, Aras?
I'm going to cast Hideous Laughter on the giant thing.
Okay.
So make a wisdom saving throw.
Okay, so you cast a spell as this motorcycle goes barreling towards this building. My saving throw is a 10.
Oh, you fail! Okay, so, Tabitha says, "Hey, got your nose." And it's a terrible joke. Nobody gets it, but the creature falls over laughing as if it was really funny. It is incapacitated and unable to stand up for a minute with my concentration. It can make another wisdom save if it takes damage or at the end of its turns.
Excellent. So this creature just unleashes this god-awful sounding, gurgling kind of laughter bellowing from his throat that sort of echoes in the streets. And it falls back into this building, sinking down inside of it out of view. And you see the side of it bulging as it's trying to move and laugh at the same time. You guys have just barreled towards this wall. The motorcycle is going to take 1 point of damage and be incapacitated and drop to 0 speed. I need you all to make me some dexterity saving throws here.
The nat 1 for a total of 2.
Beautiful.
I got an 8.
Okay.
15.
15.
24.
4. Okay. DC was going to be 15, so maybe succeeded on that. Is going to only take half of this. So, 12 points of bludgeoning damage as you strike the side of the building, or 6 if you have saved. The motorcycle now is a steaming pile of twisted metal against the side of this building. The gnome jumps from the seat and begins to run towards the entrance to this building.
Yeah, same.
Does anybody not immediately get out of their seat?
Someone might, I don't know.
I don't think I had a choice. I think I fell up against the wall. Splat.
Cool. Yeah. Running straight for the house.
I picture Kahareth probably like gripping this wheel in terror as this twisted metal is all around him because he has no idea what the fuck's going on right now. But steals himself and leaps from it, probably pulling Colias behind him, if I know Kahareth correctly. And you all sink inside the building. It's a very plain looking structure, but you see the gnome rush across the floor, moving towards the opposite wall, where you see some sort of wooden platform that she rushes towards, throwing open this gate and stepping inside. She begins to wave you all in her direction.
Yeah, we go.
Okay.
Full speed ahead.
Accelerate.
And I did a 19 for my save. That's at the end of his turn, correct? Okay, so he's not going to react this round. You all jump onto this platform, and Arche flips a lever, and you all begin to suddenly and quickly descend into the darkness as this lift drops. And you see the light above you quickly fading as this thing descends into night. And I think of all places, this might be a good place to take a break. So we'll be back in 5-10 minutes. So stick around. All right, we are back. So, I should have found some music, I guess, while we were waiting instead of being... Yeah. All right, so we are now descending deep beneath the streets of Sigil. The counterweight on this lift finally kicks in enough to slow your descent a little bit. You're not free falling so much now. But it seems like you've been dropping for a long time. RK is just sort of breathing heavily, slowly looks up at you.
As we go down, I see, where are we? Where's this place?
Well, you've been to the Hive, right? So, if this place would be if the Hive was just a layer of shit.
Right, cool. Great.
It's where all the unspeakables go. But probably a lot safer than what's up there right now. For
the moment, at least. Thank you. That was a really cool bike you had. I assume that was a really cool mode of transport you had.
I appreciate it. I wish it was, still in one piece, but I'm glad that we're all in our own separate pieces.
I am so sorry I brought this on you.
It's alright. You don't get much excitement in that shop. It was pretty fucking fun, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it was.
And look on the bright side. Now you get another chance to build an even better mode of transport. Maybe one that doesn't require so many people to operate.
That's a good point.
I know there was a critical flaw in the plans I made. Perhaps in the future, if we still make it out of this, I'll get rid on that.
While we're on this elevator, I'm going to take a moment to take the tape that's still in my hand. I was doing everything one-handed.
Okay.
And I'll try to put some paper over it that I can just rip off without having to mess with the glue itself.
Gotcha. It's like some sort of like wax paper or something like that. Absolutely.
And wrap it back up in my pack.
Excellent. Okay. Slowly but surely, the elevator finally makes its way down, landing with not the most soft thud. And you're almost instantly overwhelmed with the smell of refuse, of sewage. There's also like this lingering, almost like methane smell. RK begins to move away from it, pushing this little gate open, which probably wouldn't have kept you safe if it was there or not, but moves off this platform and begins to wander through this room that's very similar to the one that was above, but definitely more disheveled. You see a singular doorway, maybe 15 feet ahead of you. It's the light outside of it is very dim. You can barely just make some silhouettes moving past. And RK turns back to you all. Well, I hope we're safe down here for now. We'll have to find somewhere to hunk up for a little while until we can figure out what the hell's going on. Just be careful down here. The most disreputable of the disreputable of the disreputable make their homes down here.
Is this like a super secret place, or is it just like everybody kind of knows that the underground exists?
This is
roll for history.
You would know that this is a place that's sort of considered under sigil. It's if you wanted to throw a body away for good, and I don't mean just dead, but a person, to erase them from existence almost, you would put them down here. You also know it's sort of run by many different gangs of people who are just trying to carve out whatever kind of life they can carve out down here. They've either been run off by the Harmonium or worse within the city, and this is one of the few places that is safe for them to stay at. Well, safe and to a degree at least.
As I get off the elevator, I change my face to a human woman with more wide features and dark curly brown hair with freckles. My cloak also changes to a dark blue. And my footsteps go ahead and change to just a slightly different boot.
Okay, wonderful.
Colias is also going to stick kind of close to Ilya. Since, you know, this place is kind of like hell.
Kahareth, are you sort of in your full regalia or...
Yes, but ponchoed.
Ponchoed, okay, so you're not immediately recognizable. Which is probably a good thing down here. RK moves to the door and looks down the street one way and the other way. Well, nothing too out of the ordinary as per usual down here. Perhaps we could find somewhere to hole up for the evening.
Yeah, okay. Do you have anywhere in particular you're thinking of? Or are we just gonna have to...
We
Is
might...
it like 5 and that there are abandoned places?
There are many abandoned places here, at least in theory, depending on who's holed up in this time or what gang has overtaken the previous, or it's a constantly shaping systematic sphere down here. I can only take a guess.
Okay.
It's been a long time. Don't have much reason to be down here.
I don't either. I've only been down here once, and that was not for very long at all.
She takes the rifle back off her shoulder and sort of clutches it against her chest. Well, shall we move out?
Yep.
You all finally take your first look into the hell that is Under Sigil. If you thought the Hive Ward was bad, the Hive pales in comparison. Mountains of trash. Mountains of discarded bodies. Of food, waste that runs down the streets. You have a feeling that a lot of the waste probably trickles down from above into this sector. People have just tried to make a little city for themselves down here. The smell is overwhelming. It's permeating. Almost like it's sticking to your skin, whether it's touching you or not. The essence lingers. Moving out into the streets, you see shuffling forms of, well, you're not quite sure. Only torchlight is really the only thing that lights the Undercity. And most of the figures are all covered in sores from various diseases or cloaked to hide who they are. A lot of people don't want to be found down here. They'll do every effort they can to hide themselves. RK takes a deep breath, instantly regrets it letting it out. All right, follow me, she says, and begins to bolt off to the north, moving quickly through the shadows.
Right behind her.
Okay. For her size and her stature, she moves fairly simply, it seems, through the streets, being very careful to stay away from the light when she can, to avoid figures as she can. She begins to make her way to what she knew as the last safe house that she'd been down here. Who wants to roll me a percentile dice?
I'll do it.
All right.
9.
That is a good number. Okay. So, RK finally stops just outside a residence. Like all the other ones around here, it looks like it's been abandoned. Of course, they're all in various states of decay, dishevelment, falling apart. You can smell the wood rotten. It's wet. Just leaning against it, you feel it begin to press in just from the air pressure pressed against it. It leaks some sort of fluid. You're hoping it's water, but you're not entirely sure. She dips her head up around the sides, looking in. Appears to be empty. She rushes in.
We're also there.
Okay. You follow in quickly behind her. You all tearing about the room, I would assume, checking. And suddenly you realize that you have to be very careful where you step here because the wood seems to want to wane and whine under your feet. Almost as if it wants to give way to your very simple touch. You find piles of discarded blankets and robes, things made to resemble pillows, hay that's rotten, black, soaked with moisture, soaked with fungus, molds, hard to tell. Arcade does her best to close the door behind you all. The whining wood echoing against the hovel's interior. Any furniture that there was long since fallen apart, lays like corpses on the ground. But you are off the streets. She sighs as the door closes behind her. Well, what the fuck do we do from here on out?
I don't think I have enough tape for that thing.
I guess you could say we really hit rock bottom with this one.
I was just gonna say we got ourselves into quite the sticky situation, to be honest.
I appreciate y'all's attitude.
Don't make me leave you all here.
Oh, come on. If any time is a time for sense of humor, right now is it.
RK sort of kneels, laying the gun before her, this rifle. You have quite a pickle you have all gotten yourselves into. Any idea how you're going to get yourselves out of it?
I think we were doing all right. One on one. And then it escaped. Tabitha, your double was. I think I had it. I think I had it. I'm mixing accents. Sorry. They had it on the ropes. If we had it out in the open, I think I could have got it. I could have finished it off.
I don't even know it.
We know we can kill him because you guys killed the other one.
Yes. I suppose so. It almost killed me, though.
Now we know to keep you farther away from it. If we can get Arphef back, that dang dwarf, we can put him and me in between you all and let you guys take shots. Take some shots from far away.
But if it screams, then it doesn't really matter.
Well, the little ones, I mean, I was kind of freaked out that first time, but I do think that I could get them. I could get that tape on them if we have enough tape.
Well, it's not just hearing them, because when you were by yourself and you encountered that one, we all heard it scream too. But I guess we're too far for it to matter. And so if you all stay far away, I don't know how far that is, but
another important thing to mention is that do they all scream like that, or is it just Tabitha's? I mean, the Sarpedon monster didn't scream at us. It just kind of flailed, I think is what happened, if memory serves correct. And plus, now we've got, 4 of these monsters unaccounted for?
Yeah, I mean, I'd assume that there are 4 of them. You would think they would be going out after their people, though. The Sarpedon monster's obviously coming after us. So there has to be something about us that draws them to us?
Well, it seemed like it was a little wounded when it showed up at our doorstep. So maybe it had already tussled.
Oh god, I hope Sarpedon's okay.
Maybe we have to come to terms with our regrets.
I don't know if that... They were born on another plane. A plane that responds to regrets. In the ladies' domain, a neutral area. I don't know if that will work. I don't know if you have to return to the Isle of Black Trees, or if there is... I've been sitting here thinking, if Eliath could do what he could do, maybe there's... Because in the cosmos, there's always an opposing force, right? That's how it all works together. So if there's a plane of regret, maybe there's a plane that is opposing to that. And that's where we need to kill them.
Well,
It may be too complicated.
That's an interesting theory. Things do work in threes out here on outer planes. To keep that in mind, the rule of 3 is always very strong.
Mm-hmm.
But Tabitha, what you suggest is, healthy to do. Whether or not it works to combat these monsters, do you want to talk about it?
No, not really. It was more of a suggestion. More for Colias than myself. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. But we'll see. We'll put a pin in it. How about that? And then if it comes back, we'll put tape on it too.
Well, how about you, Colias? Is that, like what Tabitha said, coming to terms with your regrets? That's a healthy thing to do.
I mean, I could try to walk up to this monster and try to give it a big old hug and sing Kumbaya. And we'll just see if it kills me or not.
I'm not totally in favor of that one. More about the inner discovery, far removed from these monsters. And forgiving yourself for whatever it is. I know that's not an easy thing to do. I don't mean to make light of it, but
I did not consider that possibility, and now I'm stumped.
well, it's something to think about. You don't have to decide right now. Or I think safe. Then look up.
And just sort of look up into the rotting skeleton that is this house.
Ish.
RK, who was sort of like sitting on she's kneeled down and sort of rocking back on her heels, and you see her eyes are slowly drawing closed.
So I guess we're gonna camp here for the night.
Sounds like a plan.
Wordlessly start unloading my pack with I've got a tightly rolled bedroll that I start pulling apart. It's not very much, but it's something.
I'll take the first watch.
Okay.
You all get some sleep. Don't worry if anything comes. I'll make sure you're all awake. Don't worry. I've got you covered. Sleep well.
RK responds as her forehead thuds against the floor, with her bottom up and heavy snoring emitting from her. And the rest of you falling asleep, I assume, the best you can.
Turn to face the wall and probably stare at it for a while.
Same.
Okay. Struggle with your surroundings, the smell, with the unknown that seems to be pervading you from all sides, from outside and from within. Sleep's hard to come by.
Not to mention, Kahareth just enlightened us that there was this realm of dreams where nightmares are a real thing.
Yeah. It's very true.
But I also said sleep well, so don't forget that other part.
You can't do that. You can't say that thing and then follow it up with that and just expect us to do that.
I'm sort of glad that was brought up, because this is my question to you all. And we'll start with my Zoom screen here, who would be on the top row here, Aras. What does Tabitha dream about this night?
Oh, she probably sees the real Tabitha. Nyx dreams that she's about 7 years old, and she's sitting in a very sparsely appointed parlor, a meager fire going in the fireplace, and she's on a threadbare on a threadbare rug, with a small changeling, very silvery, not much color, with a little girl who is very obviously elven, with bright blonde hair and bright blue eyes, who is playing a very, very old looking dulcimer and singing a very happy song.
So, Nyx, you watch this before you. I would assume probably a small smile appearing upon your lips, looking upon Tabitha. The song she sings weaves through the air, seems to touch everything around her. Almost like a kaleidoscope of light bounces from corner to corner of the room, and her being the central point of it all. And the voice begins to deepen. The words become archaic, unknown, and hushed. The light fading. The face that turns to you is still Tabitha's. The eyes are sad, bags underneath of them. And the flesh is taut to the bone. As you can only see like the outline of the skeleton beneath it. And the hair that was once blonde and thick and full is wispy. It was falling off her scalp as she turns to look at you. You want me? Come the words. She begins to crawl towards you.
I know. I'm so sorry.
Why do you wear me?
I couldn't let you go. You were so dear and so full of life.
Are you responsible for this?
No.
She sits back, and large tears begin to well up in the corners of her eyes, and she begins to stare around the room. She clutches her chest, begins to rock back and forth. This flesh feels like a prison.
Tabs, I'm so sorry. And I try to I reach towards her as if I want to embrace her.
Okay. Hands move out in her direction and she screams. And it's a scream that you heard not long ago. Like the one of the regret monster, as you all have called them. And you see the face rip open. Cover your ears and lunge back. And you just see the form of the real Tabitha dripping, the flesh sliding off the bone, leaving nothing but a twisted, gore-covered skeleton before you, bereft of all flesh. And you look down at your hands in horror as you see that flesh wrapped around yours. And as hard as you try to change your form, it will not go away.
Just sobbing and crying and screaming.
Now your screams have reverberated in the room. And you can feel the flesh around your mouth begin to rip open. Pain just burning through your face. And your cries are searing hurt your own ears, causing more pain to explode within your skull as you're trapped in this cage of flesh. You try as you might to escape. Pain is what wins out in the end. The blackness takes you and you feel your head thump against the floor and all goes black. Ilya.
Damn, dude.
What do we dream about
Yeah.
this evening?
She's dreaming a dream that she often dreams, which is her fighting in a zombie apocalypse.
Very interesting.
The sky is an orange, a burnt orange, the kind of, if you've ever driven through the smoke from a wildfire, it's smoke with sunlight way up ahead, and that's like the only bit of light that's penetrating is the orange, the lower tones of the ultraviolet spectrum. And it's zombies everywhere, and she comes up on a rundown shack that's got some fencing around it, some fortifications, and as she's being chased by these things, and she's doing pretty well. Whenever she does get caught, she hacks and slashes and whips and cracks and heads fly, and she's feeling pretty good about herself and her own capability of surviving this. But she gets to the shack and she opens the door and she finds within the shelter that there is a man, a woman, and 2 children huddled in the corner. And suddenly she's charged with keeping them safe during all of this. And it's like her dream skips forward. She knows them. Her dream skips forward again. The zombies are coming in on the land and they got to find a new place. It skips forward again. They're on the road. They're trying to find a new place.
So you're in this seemingly never-ending cycle of finding a new home, losing a home, maybe losing this new family that you have around you. You do your best. Make sure they're taken care of. Make sure that they're all safe within your eyesight. While they're not sickly, they definitely can't take care of themselves, not like you can. You've been trained for things like this, to take care of yourself, to keep pressing forward, to scavenge, to scrounge, anything to survive. What teaching of Zerthamon would you think would most take over Italy at this point?
I think that would be the 5th. There is strength in not only knowing the self, but knowing how to bring it forth in others.
Dig it. I dig it. So it seems maybe the 10th, 50th, 100th cycle, you're not even sure at this point. This dream just seems to go on and on. And the faces of the people that you see around you, there was two people and 2 children, is that correct?
Yeah.
The faces become more distant, it seems like, every time that this thing cycles over. The man looks a little different, a little bit more ragged, a little bit more haggard. Maybe his hair color's changed. Maybe the tone of his flesh has changed. It's to the point where you're not even really sure maybe who you are at this point, because everything is constantly switching and moving around you. Even the smell of the smoke feels different. And before long, you start to see the face of Kahareth in the man. You see the face of Arphef in another. Colias, obviously one of the small children. And Tabitha, who's so well versed at taking other forms that you know of now. Maybe that was her all along. You're not even really sure at this point. But you feel so ingrained to take care of them, as if they're helpless. But at the same time, you have that feeling of a familiarity, of family. Has Ilya ever had this feeling before?
Yes and no. It's hopeful thinking.
Hopeful
She
thinking.
has wanted it and has come close to it. But even if she did have it at the time, she would have kept a boundary.
Ilya, when looking from person to person, what do you feel is the main thing that you draw from Tabitha that you see reflected in yourself?
Putting on a brave face.
What of Colias?
Being ahead of where she ought to be and being ostracized for it.
And Kahareth?
That's tough. Finding a way to go for the same goal and put differences aside as to the extent that you can accomplish that goal.
What about Arphef? What about Arphef do you think Ilya sees reflected in herself?
Perpetually actually feeling very lost.
That's what I thought you'd say. So, knowing yourself, that's one of the most important teachings, is it not, in Zerthamon? Of course, knowing your enemy. You look from face to face, and you see reflections of yourself now. Various stages of your life. Perhaps in Colias, you see what you would assume a younger form of yourself, maybe a little bit more naive. No, that's not right. Colias is strong. Well aware. Not as foolhardy as you would take her to be. Something about that. You've known each other for a long time. Where'd you meet? Dis, that's where you met. And that's why the fires around you smell familiar. That sulfur. The heat, overwhelming. And then suddenly, the explosions. Blowing up the sky. Almost like a migraine throbbing in your temple. Each and every one. And you look around and now you're alone. Your family's gone. Where did they go? Are they dead? You're not sure. This doesn't stop you, Ilya, I'm sure. She presses forward. Over and over and over and over again. Ilya, what is your regret?
think I regret loving the mess too much. I wish I could be who people want me to be. But I can't because I am what I am.
And that sort of goes against some of your teachings, I would assume.
At least half of them.
Yeah. So, you find yourself on the blasting plains of some layer of the hells. Who knows at this point? All you know is there's heat and you're alone. And your spirit is broken because you don't know who the fuck you are. And maybe you never did. Your mind begins to warp. You begin to pick at the flesh of your body. Looking for pain, looking for some sort of just answer to know that you still exist. It's not long before you're ripping off shreds of skin, tugging hair, anything. Nothing feels anymore. Nothing exists anymore. And there you lay. Fleshless, screaming. In the realm of Bator. Forever lost. Not just lost physically, but lost to yourself. Colias. What does our sweet, sweet bard dream of this evening?
Well, a lot has happened today. Colias would probably dream of a familiar situation that she used to experience a lot. So in the dream, she's standing up against the back of a caravan, and there's a person taking her height. As soon as she was tall enough for her height to be checked off on the back of the caravan, they started doing that for her. And she excitedly turns around and sees that she's grown. She's grown a little bit. Woo! And she's excited and happy, and she's not wearing any shoes. And she hears her mother come around the caravan and go, put on some shoes. Come on, we gotta go. We got a performance to do. And so Colias turns around to go put on her shoes, but suddenly she's at the venue, and she's got to walk up onto this platform, and there are stairs, and for some reason she can't coordinate her body enough to climb the stairs, and also she's still not wearing any shoes, which is very embarrassing. And she's trying to take this first step onto the stage over and over again, and she just can't. And she can hear her mother yelling at her in the background, telling her that she can't do it, and she's got to suck it up and just go up those stairs, but she just can't take that first step. The stairs are terrifying.
I imagine Colias is probably staring out into this dim lit structure with hundreds of faces with no real face upon them. You can't distinguish one from another, but you can feel their eyes pressing on you, oppressing you. But you're a professional, right? You're used to this. You're also used to that soreness of your wrist from that stick. The one that's supposed to teach you what's right and what's wrong. And it's almost as painful as the biting tongue of the mother speaking to you, telling you what to do, what to wear, where to go, who to see, who not to see, when to get up, when to go to bed, what to eat. And those lashes far exceed any of the physical pain in your body right now. Colias. This venue shifts and melts from view, sort of tucking this little tragedy away, like you've tucked so many others away. And you sort of stand before a mirror and look at it. Straighten the top of your dress. It's always been so uncomfortable. These things she picks out for you. So brush the blonde locks away and stare. You see the face of a young woman now before you. And you see her free and smiling and happy. You see her kissing another person. You see her hugging another person. You see her growing older. You see her getting married. You see her growing old with her partners, and you see her hair graying, her back hunching. You see this old withered figure staring back at you. God damn, as hard as you try to look at this image of you, is it you? Will it ever be you? How would Colias feel right now?
In the dream, almost panicked.
So Colias, you reach for the nearest object. Maybe a little snuff box that you pluck up next to you and lunge it towards the mirror, shattering it before you. You don't care the feeling of the glass as it slips beneath your flesh. Just anything to get that damned image away from your eyes. And you just stare now at yourself. And you see the reflection in the room as light moves across it and back down, as night and day reflects over and over and over and over and over and over. There you stare at yourself still, unchanging. And you pick up one of these glass shards and begin to stalk from the room, running across this darkened hallway, throwing open a door, and seeing a woman, their back towards you, golden locks, much like yours, and she's brushing them slowly. You stand at the edge of the room with this glass shard pressed in your hand, the edges of it cutting, hot crimson leaking down your arm. And suddenly your little feet carry you across the room as quickly as they can. and you leap with that shard aimed toward the back of her neck. Kahareth,
Yes.
what does a dream person like you dream?
I'm so glad you asked. Kalishtar are severed from dreams. They sleep, but they don't connect to the plane of dreams. Instead, their minds go back into the memories of their ancestor spirit, who and the generations that that spirit has lived. So, if that spirit had encountered any of these regret monsters in the past, I'm sure that would be on the forefront of the video clip. But I don't know how lucky I am about that.
How lucky are you, Kahareth? You're pretty fucking lucky today, it seems like. So how do you receive these? Is it like you're staring through them, or?
Yep, it would be like seeing someone else's memories.
Gotcha. So what you end up, I guess you not only see but maybe feel at the same time, the movement of this body, of the smells that inhibit it. Very similar to what Colias and Tabitha experienced, that stench of rotting vegetation. It's all encompassing. It's overpowering. But what you see is not quite what you've experienced so far. You see a creature of nightmarish existence. And this form is cutting through them as fast as it can. And you see several other of these figures cutting through the swath of these alien-looking creatures of multiple-limbed and many-eyed and slithering tentacles and dripping ichor from multiple mouths that just encompass its body. And you hear a scream, but you don't feel any fear from it. You don't sense any disorientation from it. But you see as this thing gazes from person to person, you see them stricken down, as if the very presence, meeting its very eyes, brings them to their knees. Their minds so shattered, incapable of understanding what they're looking upon, shatters them instantly. There's a stillness as that recognition sort of pours over you. And you realize whatever these things are, they are born of regret, sure, but the power behind them is not of this multiverse. Something deeper, something more alien, something you'll never wrap your mind around, most likely. And suddenly you're pulled from this. It's a very disorienting feeling. You never had that before. Something's yanked you from this connection. And you feel warmth, hotter and hotter and hotter. It's as if your very armor and your flesh, everything about you is just heating up to an insurmountable level. And you feel a presence just empowering you. You feel all this fear, all this doubt just ripped from you. It's replaced with rage. Consuming rage. Like the fires that are pouring from your flesh now, just wants to devour existence around it. And you felt this before on the streets of Sigil not long ago. And you hear those words once more rattling through your skull. Consume. Destroy. A test. Let me in. The voice becomes more demanding, stronger, louder. And even in this false sleep that you have, your temples throb. And whoever is awake at the time, I'm not sure because we didn't really talk about the order of this, but Kahareth's flesh is just dripping with sweat now. And you see the blade at his side just instantly ignites to a red hot. And like magma or molten steel is dripping from the edge of it, bleeding out of the scabbard. Let me in. And you feel the soft hands of a young child shaking you violently awake, Colias.
Kahareth, you're... Oh, sorry.
So you're not really asleep, I should say, but shaking you back to consciousness.
So Colias is waking him up, essentially.
Exactly.
And she sees the sword turning into lava.
Oh, you could see it's just like pouring out of his scabbard. It's not burning.
God.
It's not burning him or anything of his possession. It's like watching a smelter just pour molten iron from it. It's just raining out the side of it.
So Colias is gonna be shaking him. Kahareth, oh my god, your sword is catching lava? It's not on fire, but oh my god.
The sword is lava.
My eyes pop wide open.
Kahareth, your sword!
And I grab my sword instinctually.
Okay. You rip it free of its scabbard, and there's like this swoosh sound as this molten metal just creates an arc as you free it from your scabbard. You hear it sizzle against the very wet, soaked wood. And there's a strong scent of... It's not even a burning wood, it's just terrible fluids boiling and releasing off this stench of fungus and waste.
Oh my god. Oh my god. What?
Yeah, what's going on? What is that?
So I don't know what to do with my melty sword, but it seems dangerous to just go swinging it around places. So
Right.
I just put it in front of me and start moving as far away from everyone as I can.
Okay.
I've got it under control.
So you lay it down and begin to press away from it. And as you do, the light from it slowly begins to fade. And there's still that sizzle of the hot metal against the wet, damp floor. And it takes a few seconds, a little faster than really you were suspecting, but the metal cools back into that familiar shape.
So, Kahareth, that's new. You want to talk about what happened there a little bit?
Nope. I don't know what happened there. I'm just going to let that settle down. Go back to sleep. It's fine.
I mean, what if it's an epidemic? What if all of our blades start turning to molten lava? I mean, let's be honest, I got a lot of them on me. I don't know if it's contagious.
It seems unlikely. I mean, 1 is unlikely. 2 would be even more unlikely. So, by the law of averages...
I hate to tell you, but today we started off drinking at a tavern, and now we're in an underground, God knows what, trying to rest after being attacked by regret monsters. So
maybe that
feels like it's our unlucky day.
It's possible it didn't even happen. Maybe it's these fumes making us see things. Don't worry about it. Just go back to sleep.
Can I roll perception to see if the fumes are making me see things?
Same.
Perception?
Would it be perception? What would that be?
It's just a wisdom check.
You say like a wisdom medicine check, maybe?
Wisdom
maybe nature? You mean like a nature or a medicine check? Whatever you're proficient with.
Hey, that's a 5. Could be the fumes. Totally.
I got a
could be the
natural
fumes.
1. It is
natural
definitely
one.
the fumes.
All right.
Yeah, the two of you put your heads together, and you're fairly sure that the sewers have pockets of methane within them. I mean, especially Tabitha, you've been from a large city in Waterdeep. You're well versed on these sort of things, and you know that any sort of exposure to this could cause delusions, all sorts of mental hallucinogens.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally possible. Yeah, let's just go to sleep. I think the fact that we're tired and we've had a really long day is probably just not helping it. Oh. Gosh, my head hurts.
Let's just go back to sleep. Or you guys go back to sleep. I guess I was on watch. I'll hold down the fort and try not to breathe in too many fumes.
Yeah.
If you wouldn't mind just turning around for a second, Colias. And I start, because I'm burning hot, so I'm pulling everything off.
You getting all the way naked?
Well, I'll protect my modesty when I go back to sleep.
All right, so you free yourself from this damp, warm clothing that's strapped to you. Assuming, I guess, probably your armors that you have to take it out of as well. So you doff your armor. The rest of you just you following suit back to sleep, or
Does Kahareth wear a helmet?
I I have the mod that I'm wearing a helmet, but you can't see it.
Can't see it. Ah,
Always off.
I wanted while he was asleep. I wanted Colias to try on his helmet.
I don't think the description for splint mail includes a helmet, so I'm probably not.
She would try on a piece of his armor, which would be like absolutely ridiculously huge on her. Probably she couldn't even like pick it up.
Absolutely. Was everybody too afraid to go back to sleep?
Yeah, I don't think Nyx is actually going to get very much sleep after the dream that she had.
Same.
So you all just lay on the floor, dissolved into your own little nightmares, except for Colias, who just seems to be poking around in this piecemeal armor, trying her best to fit within it. And Kahareth doing his best to be as modest as possible. But obviously he was sweating so terribly, you can see his whole body is just glistening, and his flesh is almost red, like new skin, if you know what I mean by that. So you all just lay on your own little corners and pretend that you're sleeping, or?
No, I've got my eyes wide open, actually. I've been staring at this entire scene this whole time.
Okay.
Unmoving.
Beautiful.
I'd totally go back to sleep. Nightmares aren't a thing for this guy.
Okay.
Just these fumes. They're
Just these fumes.
It's giving me the vapors.
Okay.
I'm just going to try not to sleep. Probably will doze in and out because, that was a very rough day.
Quite true. Quite true. You manage the best sleep as you can. No more nightmares per se. Nothing at least that deep or that dislodging. You don't notice much except for Colias, who's sort of moving about, or the soft snoring of RK, who's managed to not be laying face first onto the floor at this point, and has managed to curl up on her side, holding onto her gun protectively. You're not sure when day really is down here. Just the point where you feel rested enough that perhaps 2 hours, 4, 6, it's some amount of time has passed. And those that were sleeping begin to stir.
Once Nyx opens her eyes at any point, she's gonna find that I've just been staring at her this whole time. Just dead
creepy.
eyes.
I don't say anything, but I look a little creeped out.
I glacially turned my head like I totally wasn't staring this whole time.
I don't say a word as I gather my stuff up and try to find something to eat in my packs.
And RK will probably do the same. Probably a little bit more jovial than you all are, but sort of whistling and going about things as she digs something out to snack upon. She didn't exactly leave knowing that she would have to, pack for a trip, but she manages a few things that she has tucked away, sort of chewing upon them and looking around the room. from face to face. You're all very quiet this morning, but doesn't make any big fuss about it.
But am I back awake?
Yes.
All right, I start getting dressed.
Probably a good thing. Donning your armor once more.
As I'm getting dressed, I send a message to RK.
Okay.
Don't be alarmed. This is Kahareth, and we can speak telepathically.
All right.
Does she say that telepathically, or?
Yes. Yes, she
Okay.
does.
I'm gonna get you back to your workshop, and I am awfully sorry to put you through this.
She sort of shrugs. Speaks back to you through the mind. It's all right. It wouldn't be the first time I've had to abandon a workshop. Most of them explode, but it's okay. I'm used to wandering from place to place. As I said, it was a hell of a lot of fun to me.
Well, you have a wonderful attitude. It has come to my attention that I have a requirement for an item. And I'd like to describe this item to you. And if you would let me know if this is something that you can fabricate.
Well, I'm always up for a challenge. What can I do you for?
So I described the item that we discussed
Right.
previously.
Right. Ah, interesting. Yes, I can make something very similar. Not quite to the degree you wish, but it would definitely have an effect. It would keep them from passing on, at the very least. And wouldn't require any sort of activation on your part.
For a noble cause. So anything you can do, I'd appreciate.
She smiles, and there's a little bit of a twinkle in her eye as she looks at you, Kahareth. You're a good man. Don't care much for the ragtag faction you keep yourself aligned to, but you seem to be one of the good ones. It's quite noble.
You're not so bad yourself.
Oh, honey, you should have seen me 80 years ago. I would have knocked your socks off.
Is this conversation over?
It's all mental, so.
I'm getting
So-
dressed the whole time, so yeah.
Yeah.
Colias has learned message through Kahareth somehow, and she knows message for reals, and she lifts her hand to her head and says, "Kahareth, we all know when you're using message because you always do freaking this." Telepathically, of course. She's like sitting there staring at Kahareth with her fingers on her temples.
Meta-wise, I wasn't doing this. I was getting dressed the whole time. This is for the audience.
Still.
I guess the rest of you would probably see that RK has a little bit of a blush to her cheeks. She smiles at Kahareth, and once the conversation is ended, she timidly turns away, as not to cause any further suspicion. And the rest of you, I assume you're just getting your things up for the day, at least. Excellent. Anything else you want to talk about before we press the story forward a little bit?
So, where do we go from here? I mean, we have to go back upstairs to the regular part of the city eventually, right? What do we do?
Well, that big fella, he causes a significant amount of damage. So I don't reckon this is entirely all on our shoulders now. Someone was bound to notice what had happened. And so I can certainly see if my friends in the Harmonium can aid us in tracking down these creatures and bringing the fight to them rather than waiting for them to find us again as an option. I'm open to others.
We could, like, not exist on this plane also.
I like that option, actually.
You are welcome, and there's nothing here for me to keep you here. However, I could not, in good conscience, leave these creatures to roam the city of doors without putting them down.
Would you say that would be a regret?
No, that hasn't happened yet. So
Okay. Why do you have to be bright? Yeah, I should probably do something about them. But, I mean, obviously we can't do that much. I mean...
we don't have to do that much. If I can, surely the city has a vested interest in seeing these creatures dealt with, and we have firsthand knowledge of how to deal with these creatures. That makes us very valuable and important. So we can help. We don't have to do everything ourselves. We can help and put these creatures to bed.
Do you think that it's probable that we'll get in trouble for bringing them here in the first place?
I don't think there's a law in the books. I'm not for sure. I mean, it's all esoteric and draconic to me. But I don't think there exists a law preventing or admonishing one from bringing a regret manifestation as a creature into the city of doors. As far as I'm concerned, these creatures are just completely alien. They have nothing to do with you or Colias. They just happen to take your form, and that's the only thing that would link them to you, that they have chosen your form.
I suppose so. Well, frankly, I can be anything. I don't look like that right now. Colias is a little bit more difficult to prove.
Well, how are they going to hold a child accountable for such a thing? Ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Have you thought about taking him back by any chance?
I was just about to say that. I mean, we could try to unregret our regrets.
What do you mean, take them back to the Isle where we found them? Or made them?
Well, I haven't been in your company very long, but it would seem that you are a perfect bait. And if you don't wish them here in Sigil, then it's a possibility, right?
The idea presents a challenge in that getting back to that place requires a very special key that is not in our possession.
She nods slowly. Well, it was just an idea.
Didn't we take his blood though? Pretty sure at some point somebody like scooped up some of his human goo, his blood. And
I think they
Did that
did,
happen?
but I don't
Did I
think it
imagine
was
that?
either one of you.
oh darn.
Yeah, it wasn't me.
You do all know, would say that you guys would probably understand that there is a book supposedly in Sigil right now that could potentially get you there.
We just have
Wasn't
to
it
find
the lizard man who took the book and shook the hand of Elia?
It's the real one of the big ol' monster that was attacking us.
Call me crazy, but if you two are being sought out by these things, what's to say that they're not being sought out at the same time?
I actually had that thought.
Yeah, the tapping on my brothers in the harmonium, that's my idea. If anyone else has other ideas. If we know where this other fella can be found, we can pay him a visit, see if he has a way. But I don't like the idea of going back to that place and making duplicates of more people.
If you wanted to, get your math would probably be a good lead on where to find that other guy you hired. Because Gedra Math was the one that wanted the book, right?
Yes. I suppose
Provided he
so.
is in fact still alive.
You can go visit the harmonium. They'll shut you up. Then we'll meet a dead end, and then we'll proceed to our real plan. Whatever that ends up being.
Oh, I'm glad you're seeing things my way finally, Ilya.
Mm-hmm.
I knew you'd come around.
Mm-hmm. This is my come around face.
I move slightly behind Kahareth, and as he speaks, I make his face and mimic some of his facial expressions.
It's just the very faintest of a hint. You gotta roll like a natural 20 perception check to see that you crack the mask a little bit.
RK, can we escort you back to your workshop, or do you feel that our presence puts you in greater harm?
She shrugs, puts the rifle on her shoulder. I mean, I can take care of myself. I've taken care of myself for a couple 100 years now. But I'm never going to deny a big strapping lad like yourself to wander me around the city by any means.
I put out my arm. I said, well then, shall we?
She smiles and lifts up, putting her hand in the crook of your elbow. Well, I suppose we should get back to the lift and you should whisk me away.
I go back to the
Onward.
face that I had when we got down here.
There was just silence, like it was like super awkward all of a sudden. Okay.
I'm leaving.
Okay. You all step free of the hobble back into the underbelly of the city. And behind you, building that you have just rested in, suddenly shifts, and you all don't really notice it as you're walking out back into the streets. The floor begins to creak and split, and from the floor come the writhing bodies of hundreds and hundreds of rats with growing, pulsing brains attached to their heads, sniffing at the location. And I think of any place, that's probably a good place for us to go ahead and stop this evening.
Oh, rats.
I could hear Casey through Karl saying that was pretty epic. So on that note, we'll go ahead and cut it here. I will stop whatever music I got playing here if I can find it. So, let's do the fun part where we just kind of go back around and tell everybody who you are, what you got going on, where they can find you, and anything else you'd like to tell about tonight. Your favorite part, whatever. Go for it.
Hi, I'm Casey H on social media. Besides Here and Now, you can also find me Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. EST on the Hapride Heroes show with Karl, where I am playing Nos, the Celestial Hobgoblin, and that is on the Open for Adventure channel. Also, just announced today, soon to come, on the Open for Adventure channel, we will also be starting on New Year's Day at 9 p.m. EST doing a new show called Strands, where I have rolled up a sorcerer who is actually a literal dragon. And I have a whole lot of favorite parts, but since I'm first, I'm going to go ahead and take the freaking motorcycle Crash Pandas at the beginning. That whole thing was amazing.
Good.
Love the Karl's first use of the trick where we went right up the wall. That was just, he just ran with that, you know? So that was very impressive.
Awesome. Karl.
Hi, I'm Karl. And as Casey said, you can find me Saturdays at the Open for Adventure. You can also find me Wednesday nights on Open for Adventure starting January 1st with Casey.
Go figure.
You don't, I mean, you tune in for her and you get me. It's kind of a package deal. That's how I got on this one, too.
Oh, bullshit.
It's like a buy one, get one free. This is great.
It's like left shoe, right shoe. I mean, you kind of, unfortunately. I enjoyed. I enjoy that we have a nemesis that we can't kill, that keeps on getting away and coming back. I mean, I don't enjoy it, but I enjoy it. It's kind of, I don't know if it's a masochistic thing, but I sure am looking forward to killing that sucker. And that's me.
Wonderful.
Hi everybody, I'm MK. I'm Music Combat on Twitter, and MK is the best on Twitch. I stream every. Lately, it's been Thursdays because of the holiday season, holiday hours, and things like that. So now we're kind of streaming on Thursdays. I stream Bloodborne with my brother, and then once the holidays are over, I'm hopefully going to be able to stream a little more, which is great. But yeah, and my favorite scene of tonight was actually the description of Sigil's Undercity. I really liked it.
Awesome.
Hi, I'm Aras Savad. I'm your friendly neighborhood Stitch Witch. I make a bunch of stuff and I play a lot of RPGs. On Sundays, you can find me on Open for Adventure at, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, where I play a druid who's a lot happier than Nyx is. But that's fine, because my favorite part of today was when you took this wholesome little scene that I set for you, and I was like, please make it a nightmare, make it a nightmare, make it a nightmare. I made it a nightmare. Yes. It was beautiful. I love it. Thank you.
That's what I do.
Yes, here, have a bunch of knives. Please stab me. That is why I'm here.
Lovely. Perfect fit then.
Yes.
Anything else? I don't want to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
No, that's basically it. Yeah, you can catch me random days streaming when I make stuff.
I've been Saevrick. I've been your Dungeon Master. I've been your best friend this evening. My favorite part, God, I want to be like cheap and say all of it, but I loved the way that you guys handled on the fly this whole Crash Pandas motorcycle thing. You guys did awesome with that. Very creative about these jumps and stuff. That was a whole lot of fun. Something I was super worried about. Super fucking worried about. I was stressed about it at work all day today. But you guys flawlessly took it like the professionals you are. So it was awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. This is the only thing I have going on right now. At least for the foreseeable future. So, and I think we'll be back next Friday, if I'm not mistaken, with this crew. I think Jeff will still be out, or Jovar will still be out next week, because apparently he has family he does stuff with. I don't fucking know. I don't know about this kind of stuff on there. Seems like a foreign concept to me, but I miss you, Jeff.
Family is that person or something that brings you coffee while you're streaming. That's what it is, right?
I need family. So I miss you. I hope we get to see you here in a couple weeks. I've put out a couple feelers in the last couple of days about someone who might come in and play with us next week. I haven't heard any definitives yet, but if I do, I'll let you know. Otherwise, I got nothing else. So you can find me here and on Twitter at Saevrick. Yeah, so that's it for me. Anything else for you guys before we jump off? No? Cool. All right. Well, we will then see you next Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and see what the fuck all these cranium rats are about. So have a great night. See ya. And what do you say, MK?
Oh, bye-bye.
Oh, bye-bye.